So, a couple months back, Donald Trump did a town hall with CNN, and something peculiar happened here, which led me to this segment we're currently on, which is Donald Trump better for Africa? And let's just watch this interaction. Yeah, I'll have to chop it up in editing because I have a feeling CNN is going to be a bit litigious about this. But just watch this response here.
I want to get to another voter. Caitlin Boissonneau is a student here at St. Anselm College. She's a Republican. Hello, President Trump.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
The current administration has
First of all, look at Donald Trump and then compare him to the current, skeleton in the White House. You know that, hush up now, boy.
Hush up, boy.
That Joe Biden, the senator from the 1970s. Yeah, that guy.
made it clear that we should continue to provide military equipment to Ukraine so that they can.
Let's go back.
Caitlin. Hello, President Trump.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
The current administration has made it clear that we should continue to provide military equipment to Ukraine so that they can defend themselves. And how would you deal with the increasing threat posed by Vladimir Putin?
First of all, thank you very much. It's really nice. And it's an important question, so important, because we're giving away so much equipment. We don't have ammunition for ourselves right now. We don't have ammunition for ourselves. We're giving away so much. But here's the thing. I have to say it to start off. No longer matters. If I were president, this would have never happened. And even the Democrats admit that. Putin knew it would have never happened. And his pipeline would have never happened. A lot of things would have never happened. But this
Which
would never
Democrats
happen.
say that,
And all
Mr.
those
President?
dead people, both Russian and Ukrainian, they wouldn't be dead today. And all those cities that are blown up and disintegrated right to the ground, that wouldn't have happened. Okay, now,
When was the last time you heard a Democrat talking like that? How weird is it that the far right has become the most extreme anti-war party? Like the Matt Gaetz type, the Marjorie Taylor Greene every now and then, Donald Trump, Tucker Carlson. These are Republicans, like hard right wingers. Where's AOC? Ilhan Omar, Rashida, they're like Bernie Sanders. Where the hell is Bernie Sanders? Zipped, quiet. Donald Trump is an anti-war person in the conversation. Just amazing.
here's the problem. We've given so far $171 billion. They've given, meaning European Union, which is approximately the same size altogether as our economy. They've given about 20. So we're at 170, let's say, and they're at 20. You don't have to know too much about history to realize, or geography, to realize that they're a little bit more affected than we are, okay? So they've got to put up a lot more money because they're taking advantage of
Trump is in the mold and spirit of Teddy Roosevelt.
us like every other country did. That's why I
Yeah, it gets a bit of a stretch.
ended NAFTA and replaced it with the USMCA, Mexico,
But on
Canada.
this issue, Mr. President, I should know, I don't know any Democrats who have said they don't believe Putin would have invaded if you were president. But her question is, would you continue to give Ukraine money and weapons if
Donald Trump's first impeachment, and we're going to get into this. And let me just start by saying that this is like one of many conversations. Like I've talked to people and we've discussed about this exact issue that we're discussing now. So we're going to expand on this and elaborate a bit further. But Donald Trump's first impeachment, you remember, he was impeached by the House twice. The first impeachment was over weapons transfers to Ukraine. I can't remember the exact condition. There was something to do with a prosecutor that Joe Biden helped fire because that prosecutor was investigating Burisma, an oil company in Ukraine where Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's crack-addicted, heroin-addicted son was making $80,000 a month or some bullshit like that for doing absolutely nothing. It's obviously a payoff to get the vice president. And there are videos on this. Joe Biden is bragging about getting the prosecutor removed and all that.
I remember going over convincing our team, or others too, convincing us that we should be providing for loan guarantees. And I went over, for, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I'm not going to, we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting $1 billion. I said, you're not getting $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch. Got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid.
So Trump was asking Zelensky at the time to have that interaction, that whole event investigated in exchange for those weapons. So he delayed the weapons that they're just flooding Ukraine with right now. So that is what pissed everyone off the first time. It was like, oh my God, you're stopping the gravy train. I mean, listen, Trump, he's got his flaws and faults, and we can see them playing his day.
I did try and fuck her. She was married.
Huge news there.
I moved on her like a bitch. She's now got the big phony tits and everything. She's totally changed her look. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab him by the pussy. Grab him by the pussy.
You want.
Grab him by the pussy.
You want.
Grab him by the pussy.
But the crazy part is that people are acting as if the other side is all rosy and peaches and kisses and bleaches or whatever. It is an absolute cesspool. And the Bidens are just... Joe Biden, he had an interview in the 1970s where he was talking about he was too young to be prostituted by these corporations.
Senator, I'm sure that you would agree that your service in the Senate up to this point has not reflected any particular concern for the larger contributors.
Well, the fortunate thing is I didn't have many larger contributors, and the only reason... See, I went to the big guys for the money. I was ready to prostitute myself in the manner in which I talk about it. But what happened was they said, come back when you're 40, son. And so I had to go out. Because I was 29, I'm like the token black or the token woman. I was the token young person.
So he would go up to corporations and essentially ask them for money, and then they would be like, no, you're too young. Wait until you're in your 30s, because he was a senator or whatever since he was in his late 20s. Like, wait until you're in your mid to late 30s. And he said I was too young to be prosecuted, to be prostituted. So the corruption runs deep. It's the same with the Clintons, same with the Obamas now. And Donald Trump just puts an ugly face on it, and his mannerisms and his brashness, he just exposes that with a less nuanced take. So people like that sophisticated corruption, especially in America, the oligarchs, the people who are on the board of Raytheon and Lockheed Martin and Pfizer or whoever, they want that, excuse me, oh, thank you so much. I appreciate what you're doing. Now, my fellow Americans, they want that Obama style. They want a Clinton. I can't do a Clinton. But they want a sophisticated man to be the puppet master. And Trump is just not sophisticated. I mean, he has his own charms and appeals, but sophistication, I wouldn't classify Trump as that. So it's infuriating to watch. And the media is an ally in the democratic corruption, and that is why I cannot stand the media. I will always hate any corporate news entity worse than the politician. The politician is just playing the game, but the media, that is the propaganda channel that must be heavily scrutinized.
If you're elected, what's the answer?
I have a very good relationship with President Zelensky because, as you know, he backed me up with the phony impeachment hoax number one, when he said the president didn't do anything wrong. So I happen to like. Yeah, that's right. And I was totally exonerated, by the way. Just a waste of time and money.
You were impeached over that. But let's stay on topic here, Mr. President, because the question is,
what is up with these corporate news channels? Every time there was that Andrew Tate interview, there's a Donald Trump, but every time there's like a controversial figure, they always got to bring up these like strong female types, and they clearly have their talking points, and they clearly have a producer in theirs, and they got that don't let him interrupt him. They're just lacking, in my opinion. You need to be more serious about this. This woman was not it. I've seen snippets. I haven't seen the entire town hall, but she was not it.
would you give Ukraine weapons
I was
and funding?
impeached by a crazy woman named Nancy Pelosi.
But the question here is, would you give Ukraine weapons and funding if you were elected?
I would sit down. Let me just put it a nicer way. If I'm president, I will have that war settled in one day, 24 hours.
How would you settle that war in one day?
Look, I'll meet with Putin. I'll meet with Zelensky. They both have weaknesses and they both have strengths. And within 24 hours, that war will be settled. It'll be over. It'll be absolutely
Do you want
over.
Ukraine to win this war?
I don't think in terms of winning and losing.
Look at this airhead bimbo from CNN. No, but you don't want Ukraine to win. But come on, but Ukraine, where's your blue and yellow flag? It's the most corrupt country in Europe. Bunch of Nazis as a battalion. You don't want them to win? Why? Why do you want them to win? Huh? What is your investment in Ukraine? Oh, go to show the Chinese that they can't just go invading Taiwan. Well, fucking fuck you then. I'm not on your side.
Do you want Ukraine to win this war?
I don't think in terms of winning and losing. I think in terms of getting it settled so we stop killing all these people and breaking down.
And the crowd cheered wildly. Imagine that was that was a snippet I saw a couple of weeks back, and I was like, "Yeah, come on, man! These American propagandists, it's so infuriating." I think the worst country that does it is Britain. British media is honestly, it might be the worst thing on earth. British media, worst thing I've ever, from football. Oh, the way they overhype all their fucking British football players, to the way they just the condescension of we are the BBC. Yes, we protect pedophiles, but come on, it's the BBC. CNN is a close second, I feel. Oh, you don't want Ukraine. I'm a Bernie bro. I don't know if you got that energy so far. So I was fully black-pilled during the 2015-16 election, and they are just reprehensible institutions, these people.
What do you, can I just follow up on that? You said you don't think in terms of winning and losing. Mr. President, can I just follow up on
Shut up, woman! God damn, let the president speak. Mr. President, Mr. President, Mr. President.
What do you, can I just follow up on that? You said you don't think in terms of winning and losing. Mr. President, can I just follow up on that because that's a really important statement that you just made there. Can you say if you want Ukraine or Russia to win this war?
He just said it's not about winning. Make him repeat it. Make him repeat it. And she's like, God, I gotta keep my paycheck up. I'm a freaking empty vessel for the propaganda of the CIA. Oh, they will not want Ukraine to win. So let me guess. Are you gonna call him a fucking Russian agent? Remember that whole thing, that Russiagate, where they said Trump is bought off by Vladimir Putin? He ended up sending, when he was impeached the first time, he ended up sending those weapons anyway. They were just delayed by a couple of months, I think. He was more hawkish towards Russia than Obama was. And now Joe Biden is just like, oh, fuck it, I got dementia, I'm about to die, so the world might as well die with me. It's fucking Twilight Zone shit that's going on. The fact that I had never thought in my life I would passionately defend Donald Trump. Because it's listen, we could talk about, I wrote down here, Biden, Ukraine, Trump, Saudi Arabia, and Israel. In terms of corruption, I mean, Biden's got Chinese corruption, so whatever. That's usually that's probably simplest in terms of summing it down. Biden, Ukraine, Trump, Saudi Arabia, and Israel. Those are the hotspots for corruption for those two people. If you look at Jared Kushner, if you look at Ivanka, if you look at that whole fucking Trump family, it's a fucking it's actually amusing. It's hilarious and entertaining. Just oh my God, of course they did that. Of course they pocketed that. Of course they got this. And to be fair, Nancy Pelosi is worth about $150 million. And she's in the House of Representatives. What is this annual salary? $180K or some shit like that. How do you get so much money? Oh, my husband is like a genius in the stock market. He just predicts everything. I'm like, what? I just made $100 million by listening in and instigating shit and then telling my husband to bet on this and this and this and this. Guys, what else? What happened? So fucking miss me with that bullshit. I actually accept political corruption, and my quarrel is that corruption is not defined. There should be legal corruption, political corruption, illegal corruption, and treasonous corruption. Shit oh, so this company is gonna give you money for whatever. That shit happens. But when it comes to like selling state secrets and shit like that, maybe you got a point there. But Trump is just playing the exact same game, and that is one of the main takeaways. This is gonna be a part one of like many parts. I wrote a whole bunch of notes here, got more on my laptop, and I'm gonna involve my brother in this. I think tomorrow, and a couple other people. We'll have a whole discussion about it. But the media scrutiny on Donald Trump is my main point. Is that for once, like, listen, I'm not like I don't care if Trump goes to jail, if Trump, whatever, like any rich, powerful, corrupt politician that gets his comeuppance, I'm all here for it. And that is why I am so insistent on the fact that he might actually be better for Africa, because if the American president is constantly under fire from the media in all angles, the liberal media, the CNNs, the ABC news types, that can't be anything but good. Because look at what the fuck Joe Biden is doing. Joe Biden is like, he probably died like 3 weeks ago. And nothing will always be on his side. They could land 50,000 troops to our shores here. Media will be on his side. Imagine if Donald Trump did that. The only time that these people actually showed him some respect was when he started bombing people. Who is that maniac, Brian Williamson? Was it Brian Williams who was saying, oh, this is the moment he became a president. Oh, look at those beautiful bombs.
At night, from the decks of these two U.S. Navy vessels in the eastern Mediterranean, I am tempted to quote the great Leonard Cohen, I'm guided by the beauty of our weapons. And they are beautiful pictures of fearsome armaments making what is for them a brief flight over to this airfield. What did they hit?
These guys are psychopaths. So the fact that they actually challenge him so hard is refreshing. And my thing was that I thought this was going to be a turning point, because they went so light and so easy in Barack Obama that when Donald Trump came in, I was like, all right, well, at least somebody's on it. And then they started getting stupid with it, calling him a Russian agent or shit like that. Imagine calling your president an agent of your main adversary. That's like, that kind of shit will get you shot in other countries, man. Jesus Christ. It was absolutely disgusting with how they treated him. And that was all down to Hillary Clinton. Same thing with Barack Obama is a Muslim. Hillary Clinton started that. Clinton's, I mean, well, that's all. Let me not go on a side tangent. Let's finish up this video, because I start talking about Clinton, I'm never going to leave this fucking chair.
Let me just follow up.
Can you say if you want Ukraine or Russia to win this war?
I want everybody to stop dying. They're dying. Russians and Ukrainians. I want them to...
Unbelievable.
And I'll have that done. I'll have that done in 24 hours. I'll have it done. You need the power of the presidency to do it.
But you won't say that you want Ukraine to win?
Oh, my... Just like, I wish he would just get up like... Hey! Are you listening to what I'm saying? I do not condone violence against women, but that's just my feelings manifesting in physical form.
You know what I'll say? I'll say this. I want Europe to put up more money, because they're in for 20 billion, we're in for 170, and they should be.
That's not an answer, Mr. President. Mr. President, do you want Ukraine to win or not, Mr. President? Ukraine's got to win, though. You're not a good guy if Ukraine doesn't win. I mean, like, you don't want. You don't want. You don't want Ukraine to win? You don't? It's like, what is this woman?
They have plenty of money. They should equalize. I got with NATO.
But
now imagine scrutinizing Joe Biden, that decrepit old fleeting man. Joe Biden died 14 years ago, I feel, mentally. Now he's just like, oh God, let it end. Let it end. The pain, the pain. That's Joe Biden now. Imagine he was scrutinized this. That's why Trump has got to be president. He just has to be. The leader of the free world, whatever the fuck that means. He has to be under this much scrutiny. Joe Biden is committing atrocities on a global scale. And his son is a fucking crack addict while he just fired people in the White House for smoking weed in like college. He voted for the Iraq War. Americans are all in student debt, fucking riddled up to their fucking neck. All that shit. Joe Biden. The crime bill. Joe Biden. It's Imagine if you were scrutinized to 1/10 of the degree that Donald Trump is. We would be in a better world, but these guys, they're not capable of doing it. It's only Fox News, and that's all partisan shit, so nobody really takes it seriously. It's not going to cross boundaries or borders. Fucking pathetic. Look at her face. She's like... Look at this. Look at this. Hey, listen, Mr. President. I got my degree from Columbia University, and I studied journalism because my dad contributed to the library. You don't want Ukraine to win? I must say, I think I got a bit too carried away in this video. We'll talk more about it later because I had a lot more shit lined up, but I want to keep this succinct.
Billions of dollars that they weren't paying under Obama and Bush and all of these other presidents. That's why they're able to help them fight the war, because of the money I got. But I want
Let's talk
Europe.
about what's happening in Ukraine, Mr.
I want
President.
Europe.
Okay, let's leave it at that for now. So yeah, you guys tell me if you care about this issue as much as I do. Is Donald Trump better for Africa? I'm of the opinion and belief that he might be. So I'm curious to know what you might think. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. This is Prezi B. Obama. That's right. I'm back. No! Peace.